how fear works, and how to tame it. Picture this. You're walking down a dark street and suddenly hear footsteps behind you. Your heart starts pounding, your palms sweat, your muscles tense. This entire cascade of reactions launches within milliseconds, long before you even have time to think. What was that? Your ancient protector, fear, just saved you from a potential threat. Here's the paradox. The exact same system fires when you get a late bill notification. See how many likes your post received, or worry about tomorrow's presentation. Your brain doesn't distinguish between a saber-toothed tiger and an angry email from your boss. To your nervous system, both are deadly threats. Why does this happen? And more importantly, can you control it? Today, we'll dive into the neuroscience of fear and discover how to transform your inner anxious guard into a wise advisor. No mysticism, no pseudoscience, just the real discoveries from brain research. Why is this topic so urgent now? We live in the safest era in American history. We have modern medicine, technology, and social safety nets. Yet paradoxically, anxiety levels continue to rise year by year. 1 in 3 Americans has had a panic attack. 1 in 5 experiences chronic worry. What's going on? The problem? Our brains are still stuck in the Stone Age. The fear systems that helped our ancestors survive in the wild now respond to modern stressors as if they were mortal threats. An email from your manager feels like a predator's roar. Social rejection feels like banishment from the tribe. And in ancient times, that was a death sentence. Over the next 20 minutes, we'll journey inside your brain. First, we'll examine the anatomy of fear, how anxiety is born in neural networks. Then, we'll uncover why the modern world so expertly tricks our ancient instincts. Next, we'll learn how to use the body to regulate emotion, because fear doesn't just happen in the mind. And finally, we'll master cognitive techniques to reprogram fear responses. Key point. We're not trying to eliminate fear. That's impossible and even dangerous. We're going to learn to manage it. We'll transform chaotic anxiety into an ally that warns about real threats, but doesn't paralyze you with false alarms. Part 1. Anatomy of fear. So, what actually happens in your brain when you feel afraid? Let's trace the process from stimulus to reaction. Picture your brain as a multi-story building. In the basement lives an ancient almond-sized structure, the amygdala. This is your personal security service running 24/7. It receives data from all senses and rapidly decides danger or safety. If the amygdala decides the threat is real, it hits the alarm button instantly. The signal passes to the hypothalamus, the hormone control center, which then activates the adrenal glands. They dump adrenaline, noradrenaline, and cortisol into your bloodstream. This all happens faster than conscious thought, within about 1 or 200 milliseconds. Here's the critical point. While this ancient autopilot is running, your smart brain, the prefrontal cortex, hasn't even joined in yet. Located on the upper floors, it works more slowly. It needs time to analyze, weigh pros and cons, and make rational choices. That's why you might jump at your own shadow in the dark, only to laugh at yourself a second later. First, the fast fear brain fires. Then the slow logical brain joins in. What about your body during this process? Adrenaline makes the heart beat faster to pump more blood to your muscles. Breathing quickens to deliver extra oxygen. Pupils dilate to improve vision. Digestion slows. Why waste energy on food when you need to escape? Sweat glands activate to cool your overheated body. All of this runs automatically without conscious control, a vital evolutionary adaptation. Our ancestors who hesitated during danger simply didn't survive. Now, about neurotransmitters. the brain's chemical messengers. Fear releases noradrenaline, boosting alertness and readiness for action. At the same time, GABA, the calming neurotransmitter, drops off. Serotonin, which supports good mood, takes a backseat. Fascinatingly, the amygdala can learn to be afraid. If a situation was once linked to danger, the amygdala remembers and later responds to similar cues even faster. A conditioned fear reflex. Now you know what's happening under the hood during fear. But why does this finely tuned system misfire in the modern world? Why are we afraid of things that aren't objectively dangerous? Let's break it down. Part 2. 21st Century Fears. Imagine a prehistoric human sees a saber-toothed cat, feels fear, runs, or hides. The threat vanishes, stress fades. The system worked perfectly. Now picture a modern person getting a "we need to talk" message from their manager on Friday night. The weekend is ruined, sleep disturbed, appetite gone. On Monday, it turns out it was about a promotion. What's the difference? Today's fears are mostly imagined, delayed, abstract. But to your ancient brain, they're as real as a predator's teeth. First issue, information overload. Every day, we take in more data than our ancestors saw in a lifetime. Most of it is negative. Why? Bad news grabs attention, an evolved survival trick. Your brain doesn't realize that a disaster half a world away isn't a direct threat. It just logs. Danger, 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 keeping you stuck in chronic anxiety. Social media makes things worse. We constantly compare ourselves, fear judgment, crave approval. For the ancient brain, social rejection equaled exile from the tribe and certain death. So seeing your like count causes as much stress as meeting a predator. Second factor, uncertainty. The brain prefers bad certainty to good unknowns. That's why we suffer waiting for medical results, job interviews, or tough conversations. The mind generates worst-case scenarios, prepping for disaster. This creates catastrophic thinking, a cognitive distortion where we jump rapidly to the worst possible outcome. Miss the bus, you'll be late for work. Your boss is mad, you're fired. You'll never get another job, you'll end up homeless. It sounds ridiculous, but that's exactly how anxious brains work. A modern twist. We often don't burn off stress physically. Our ancestors ran, fought, or hid after a scare, burning up stress hormones through movement. We sit at our desks, stewing, while adrenaline and cortisol linger for hours, poisoning the body. Add perfectionism, constant deadlines, and multitasking. You've got a perfect storm for chronic anxiety. But here's the good news. Understanding these mechanisms means we can work with them. The brain is neuroplastic. It can change throughout life. The neural paths that trigger fear can be reprogrammed. Step 1. Work with your body. Since fear lives not just in thoughts, but in physical sensations, changing bodily responses can shift your emotional state. Here's how. Part 3. The body as ally. Try this. Attempt to feel fear right now without changing any part of your body. Don't tense muscles, breathe quickly, or widen your eyes. Not easy, right? Emotion and physical response are inseparable. This insight provides a powerful channel for influencing fear through the body. If you can't order your amygdala to chill out, you can change the physiological processes it sets in motion. Central here is the vagus nerve, the body's longest nerve, linking brain and internal organs. It's the main switch between stress and recovery. When the vagus nerve is active, it signals all's well, relax. Pulse slows, breath deepens, digestion normalizes. If inactive, fight or flight mode takes over. How to activate it? The simplest method is through breathing. Slow, deep exhalation stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system and calms the body. Try the 4-7-8 technique. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 7, exhale for 8. Just a few cycles and you'll feel the difference. Muscle tension is another key. Chronic stress tightens muscles, especially in your neck, shoulders, and jaw, sending feedback to the brain. Danger's near. Regular relaxation breaks this cycle. Progressive muscle relaxation helps. Tense and then release muscle groups from toes to face. You'll feel the difference and learn how to let go of unnecessary tension. Movement is a powerful emotion regulator. Our bodies are built to burn stress hormones through activity. Even a brisk walk helps burn off adrenaline and cortisol and generates endorphins, the body's natural antidepressants. An intriguing technique is cold exposure. Contrast showers or splashing with cold water train resilience at a physiological level. The body learns to recover swiftly after stressful events. Pay attention to body posture. Studies show that expansive, upright postures, power poses, reduce cortisol and boost testosterone, a hormone of confidence. Another simple but effective trick: grounding through sensation. Notice your feet on the floor, how your weight rests in a chair, the air temperature on your skin. This shifts attention from anxious thoughts to immediate physical reality, activating the here and now mode. Bodywork is the foundation of emotional regulation. For full control of fear, you need another layer: working with your thinking. Part 4. Rewiring fear. Now, the most exciting part: literally reprogramming your brain. For decades, it was believed brains couldn't change after a certain age. Modern neuroscience proves that's false. Brains are plastic for a lifetime, and you can consciously influence their structure. Principle 1: thoughts are physical. Every time you think in a certain way, specific neural pathways fire. The more you use one, the more entrenched it gets. Worrying thoughts carve fear trails in the brain. But new thoughts cut new paths, and neglected ones fade out. Use it or lose it. Cognitive restructuring is the process of spotting and changing automatic thoughts that drive fear. Most fears are rooted in thinking distortions. We exaggerate how likely bad things are and underestimate our ability to cope. Start with a thought diary. When you feel anxious, jot down, "What exactly am I thinking right now?" You'll often find beliefs like, "I can't handle this, it will be awful, everything will go wrong." Next, test these thoughts against reality. What facts support or contradict this? What's the evidence? A technique called the Socratic dialogue is useful. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? If it happens, then what? Could I handle it? Has something similar occurred before? How did I cope then? Frequently, we discover our fears are either exaggerated or that we're much more capable than we thought. Another tool is graded exposure, facing your fear step by step. Build a fear ladder. List situations from least to most scary. Start at the bottom. Example: if you fear public speaking, begin by sharing something with a close friend. Progress to a small, familiar group, then strangers in an informal setting, gradually climbing your ladder. Key: in each instance, stay long enough for your anxiety to naturally diminish. This is called extinction. The brain learns there's no danger and stops reacting with fear. Visualization is another powerful tool. The brain doesn't distinguish well between real experience and vivid imagination. You can rehearse a feared situation in your mind and picturing yourself mastering it. This forms new confidence pathways. Try metacognitive observation. viewing your thoughts from a distance. Instead of thinking, I'm scared, try, I've noticed an anxious thought. This distance changes your relationship to fear. Remember, the goal isn't to never feel fear, and it's to change your attitude, distinguish real versus imagined threats, and quickly return to calm after stress. Conclusion. So, we've made a fascinating journey through the world of fear, from ancient brain architecture to modern anxiety management. What did we learn? First, fear isn't your enemy. It's a deeply evolved protection system that kept our species alive for millions of years. The problem is that this system isn't adapted to the 21st century. Second, understanding the neuroscience of fear gives us concrete tools. The amygdala reacts faster than the prefrontal cortex, so first responses may be irrational, and that's normal. Third, taming fear requires a multi-layered approach. Work with the body, breathing, muscle relaxation, movement. Work with the mind, cognitive restructuring, and graded exposure. And be patient. Real brain change takes weeks and months of practice. Each time you consciously manage your fear, with breathing during anxiety, reality checking negative thoughts, doing something you dread, you are literally rewiring your brain. This isn't metaphor, it's proven science. Start small. Pick one technique from today's discussion and use it for 1 week. Keep a journal of fears and progress. Go easy on yourself. Changes take time. If this episode helped, give it a like and subscribe to Think Clearly. We cover how the mind works and share science-backed tools for a better life. Remember, you are stronger than your fears. You have all the tools to turn anxiety from an enemy into an ally. Good luck on your journey.